Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Woke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we're covering the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be awesome, guys, because right now we have Donald Trump speaking. We're hearing that there's supposed to be a huge announcement, so we'll keep you guys posted on that. I got Yagobi keeping his ear to the ground there, making sure that we get that as soon as it happens, so pay attention to that. But while we wait for that, we're going to go over some really cool stuff. So as you guys know, there is something called Spark in the ecosystem. Spark is building on top of Bitcoin L2 Lightning Network. Lightning is said to be the only true L2 to Bitcoin. So Spark building over there makes Spark, a true L2 as well. And Spark is building, a Launchpad type of environment where Magic Eden, Luminex, UTXO, and a bunch of these other ones are, putting a lot of money and resources into these Spark tokens. And we're going to go over there how you guys can be ready for that and, what we're kind of looking at there. And, there's some dark horses there as well that we're going to get into. And then, we do have some news here. Obviously, you got Bitcoin sitting at 112,600, Ethereum at 41.6. Hustle tokens doing okay, up back to 11 million, XRP at 286. So nothing really happening. Very boring in the markets. And like the poet Eminem said once, he said, how do you be positive when you don't see shit positive? That's kind of where we're at right now, right? We're kind of just sitting here and just waiting for something positive to happen. But we do have Fed Chairman Jerome Powell speaking at 12:35 today. Hester Peirce actually not being the nice lady we thought she was. She's actually threatening Coinbase, saying, hey, Base Chain needs to decentralize or register as an exchange. So that is why they're going to have the Base token. But what does that do for Abstract token? Could we see that coming this year? I think so. And a lot more, guys, to cover. Rainbow Wallet, Visa, so much to cover. Let's jump right into it. Bring out my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's
up, man? How do you be positive when you don't see shit positive?
Ultimately we are in control, or we can be in control of our own thoughts and stuff like that. And you can't help if negative thoughts come into your mind while you're seeing the price action and stuff like that. But how you handle that and how you handle the market is ultimately up to you. And so it's not easy, because I've been really working on trying to focus on other things, trying to, learn about what's happening with this new emerging industry, and, how we can win collectively as a show and our community, because we are one, in this new emerging industry, right? Because things are changing, and that's the hardest part. Is people don't like change. Humans don't like change, right? We like what we're used to, and what for us, it's been always like a narrative that kind of pulls us towards it. Then there's multiple easy opportunities in that once it's time to get bullish, but hasn't really been that this cycle. But I will say that I'm trying to take advantage of it as an opportunity to learn, because this is new and this industry is going to change consistently, in my opinion, even if it's subtle, even if it's little here and there, but just trying to learn how this is going to be. Wow, someone actually just repeated what I said in the chat there. Anyways, yeah, so I'm okay. I'm just really learning how to take it day by day. And one thing I've struggled with is price action. My indicators aren't indicating for me right now. They're not really working, but I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to, take each day, like I said, at a time. And I'm excited. We're going to have the Artura guys on for the Trader's Edge later, so I can get a little bit more insight from Marion on that.
100%. But you did say one thing wrong. You said humans don't love change. And if we don't get a bull market soon, we're going to have a lot of people out there. You got any change? So we're gonna have a lot of homeless people out there on the corner all wanting some change, but not the change that you're talking about. Actually, quarters, nickels, and dimes, and that whole sector there. So, but let's get into the first part of the show here, which is BTC Launchpad Wars. So, what do we mean by that? A lot of people are probably like, "What the hell? There's no launchpads on Bitcoin as it is." Well, you're not looking deep enough, because me and Yagobi, we found them, and right now, there's one. It's called Magic Eden. So if you go to Magic Eden, they have a new thing up there called Bitcoin DeFi. Bitcoin DeFi is basically their Spark Launchpad. That's basically what we're seeing here. They're going to have a swap here and everything else. And if you look even deeper, you can see that Luminex now has, a Spark thing. You go to their site, you hit Spark, and it takes you to this page where they have very similar to GMGN and all the other launchpads on Solana. So you're actually seeing something like this. You're seeing new, stretch, and graduated. And then if you look deeper, you find something like UTXO.fun. This is the one that crashed the whole FlashNet ecosystem the first time it dropped, but it also has a launchpad and everything else. And now we're learning for the first time that Magic Eden, they're going to have EMI in the back of all their tokens they launch. Luminex is going to have HODL. And UTXO, I think, is going to have UTXO as the last four. So we are seeing this really kind of heat up. And once FlashNet launches, I think all three of these are going to launch at the same time. So my question first for you is, can Lightning Network handle this? And two, if you had to pick a winner before it starts, who would you go with?
Okay, so I'll go backwards. The winner I'd pick would be Magic Eden, because I think that they have the marketing power. I think they have the capital that would be the strongest out of all three there. And so they know about UX. They understand that the UX is, very, very important. There's not much they could do with runes, obviously. And they have really close relationships with a lot of the builders, like Xverse and Sats Terminal, right? So that aggregation is going to happen right out of the gate. But being that Sats Terminal is an aggregator, they're probably going to open the opportunity to all three right out the gate too, right? But I do like the fact that these contracts are following a little bit of a trend. I hope it's not as degenerate as Solana, but whenever you're looking at the smart contract at the end, it does remind me of what we see at Solana. We talked about this on the show yesterday: the pump ending in pump, the ending in bonk, the ending in all these other launchpads. So this could be the start of a launchpad war in the Bitcoin ecosystem with the layer 2 ecosystem over here. But more than anything, what needs to be proven, which has not been proven to date, is consistent participation. Consistent participation in a fungible token standard, because they have commented that these tokens can be bridged. I believe they have commented they can be bridged to layer 1, but as a kind of standalone asset, because that's what you can do on layer 1, but bridging back and stuff like that. But that's not why people want it. People want it for being able to.
Why the hell would you bridge this the whole? There's no reason to.
They want it. They want it for the fast liquidity and attraction of liquidity that could come over here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Luminex has a name in the space. Magic Eden has a name in the space, and businessman ETH is a co-founder of UTXO.fun. Didn't have a great start, but he has some skin in the community of the Bitcoin ecosystem. We'll see if he can push against these two that are bigger than him, right? Magic Eden substantially, in my opinion, but Luminex still bigger.
Yeah, and businessman.eth UTXO.fun, it was the first to market. It was the reason why Flashnet actually had to readdress some issues and actually send it out to actually get some clarity on why it's failing a little bit. So they actually got some audits happening, and now we're all kind of waiting for the audits to come back. I think that's kind of what we're waiting for. Man, I hope somebody figures out a way to get audits done quicker, because I feel like the entire space, including Arch, including Spark, even what's happening with Market.fun, and so everyone's just waiting for audits to be done. So there got to be a better way to do audits. I think AI is going to be a big key factor in how we audit in the future, and that type of stuff, and potentially get that stuff a lot faster, because that's kind of what we're waiting for here with these 3 launch pads. But I actually think Luminex is going to be one of the bigger winners here. I think they finally found their shine here, and the reason I think that, because I'm already really enjoying the UI of this, right, and the swap feature right there. This discover. I don't know. I like this a lot. But you are right. Magic Eden does have the money, but if they go all in and they kind of really push this could be their bread and butter going forward. I mean, this really could be something. And when you go to Magic Eden, you don't really go there to swap, right? But Luminex could be that place where you go and you are that. And potentially Luminex doesn't have a token. So for me, I want to use the ones without a token for a potential airdrop. Magic Eden already has a token, so Magic Eden might not be my go-to. I might be airdrop hunting some of this, because you are already seeing, like up here and stuff, launch a token. You're already kind of seeing everything they have with here. So I'm kind of thinking Luminex has a token in the future. UTXO.fun could have a token in the future. So these are the ones that I'm going to be using to begin with, just to get that hunting done early.
Yeah, I think for the UI, I think Magic Eden's going to have that same setup or something similar.
Yeah, you're right.
So it does feel good to see that, though, right? Because you don't really see it too often. I guess Odin.fun has that, and Rad5 probably has that, but the one that Luminex is showing is very similar to kind of like the GMGN UI framework, or outline of it, or whatever, right? At the end of the day, I think that's a great strategy to be able to farm these, whatever they decide, if they do have a token. But more than that, look, I know they're one of our partners and we talk about them a lot, but Sats Terminal is the real winner here, because you're going to be able to trade all 3 contracts, and they're going to be all aggregated to Sats Terminal. So those Amber points are going to, in my opinion, they're going to be like very, very they're going to be earned a lot of volume, right? Because instead of having to jump over here and there and here and there, you can use a tool, right? Because I think that maybe Sats Terminal creates this tool, but there's going to be a tool that has data, kind of what's hot, what's not, that flows through, like a GMGN. GMGN's perfect example, right? Because you have Bonk, you have Pump, and you have all of them, Heaven, you have Believe, all of them filter through that, right? So maybe Sats Terminal creates a product like that, and you don't have to leave there. You can just do it directly from the Sats Terminal platform.
Yeah, and we're gonna have Stan on the show tomorrow, so we can actually ask him about that. That actually might be the way to go, to have a GMGN type of product there as well. But yeah, so if you did want to buy a token and you're like, oh crap, I don't even know what's the token called? It's called Kitty. Here's the contract information or whatever. You just go to Sats Terminal, and so you don't have to worry about the liquidity pools on UTXO, if it's on Luminex or Magic Eden. Sats Terminal is going to be the biggest winner in Sparks, in my opinion. And then the rewards token as well is going to be absolutely huge for them when they do drop that. And I do think they're going to be smart and drop it as a Spark token. That's just me kind of thinking out loud, right? They have no indication of that so far, but I think that's the smartest route. If I was Stan, that's the smartest route that I would take, is become a Spark token, because you're already going to probably have the #1 volume there, because you are just aggregating from the pools that are available. So Sats Terminal is definitely going to be a winner when
Yeah.
it comes to Spark for
But
sure.
my question to you is, will the Bitcoin ecosystem deliver? I know that this is a scaling layer that's being used, but still a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Will they deliver with this product, or will it be another, false advertisement type of situation? And this is not a poke at Bitcoin builders. I'm just saying that, like, for some of the standards that have recently, went live and in the past and all that stuff, what's your confidence level that Spark is going to be something that people enjoy using and liquidity gets attracted there?
Yeah, before I answer your question, I just want to say too that this is going to be something the maxis push. The maxis love the entire Lightning network, right? They want to see stuff happen, and they want to see it happen on Lightning. They want to broaden payments, and I think Spark's going to do that for them. Spark's is going to give them everything they want payment wise. That is actually the next layer of Lightning, so they're going to be very thankful for Spark. But how does the Spark protocol get used? Well, it's degens. They all know that now, right? Back in the day, they didn't really understand that. Degens are, the bread and butter for all the projects, because these are the guys who want to gamble, who want to get in stuff. So they're going to deal with the meme coin launch pads and stuff like that, because I think Spark is building something stronger than that. Like, so that's only going to be one asset that Spark provides, is these meme coin launch pads. But the other aspect is going to be a payment network where they can go on and off ramp from Bitcoin, right? To where they can have borrowing and lending, and they can have all this stuff on Lightning. You're probably going to see guys like Adam Back come out and endorse this, because now he can take his protocol Liquid and actually, because Liquid's actually built on top of Lightning as well, potentially have Liquid and Spark kind of be coincide each other, to where he can build his financial stuff on Liquid and still have everything kind of bridged together, because you're not going to need a bridge from Spark to Liquid, because it's all Lightning network, right? You're going to be able to do everything simultaneously with no problem. So I think the maxis are going to get on board with this, especially someone like I think his name's Jack from Strike. Right, they've built on the Lightning network, right? So it's just like, it's one of those things where all these maxis are, I think, going to come out and endorse this. And to answer your question, I think these guys, David Marcus, he was from Facebook, right? You got to think of what the people who left Facebook already done. They've done Aptos, they've done Sui, and now they've done Spark. And now Spark, potentially is ready. It's just, it wasn't stress tested and it failed some audits, and they're getting that all fixed. But I think they came out and said that they're ready. I recently saw a podcast with Bitcoin Season 2. Charlie Spears, he actually had David Marcus's son on the show, Ethan, and Ethan was basically said the same thing that I just said. Basically, like, we have to make sure that this is being used. So we're going after the degens first, but then, but the priority of Spark is a payments network, but we're just not being that. We're going to be a lot more than that with borrowing and lending and stuff like that too. So I don't know. I just love these guys. I love David Marcus. I love Ethan Marcus, and I just love what FlashNet is bringing to Spark, and then what the Lightning Network is just doing as the layer underneath everything.
Yeah, if they can get the entire Bitcoin ecosystem to be excited about one thing, I think that's a huge win. That's been virtually impossible since its inception, really. But I guess some of these core maxi guys are saying, okay, look, we don't want to, mess with the code on Bitcoin Core. This is an option to scale Bitcoin, because I do think that they're starting to realize that scaling is needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's going to be used for borrowing and lending against your Bitcoin or what, they do see that, this is something that needs to happen. So we'll see if people can rally behind it. If they can get the degens and the maxis to be on the same page, it'll be the first time. And then we'll see maybe what the full potential of the Bitcoin ecosystem could be, and whenever it all comes together, right? So, with that being said, I am very much in this camp of show me kind of situation, right? Because, we've had multiple token standards, but not necessarily with the big names that Spark has, or the big funding that Spark is getting. We have these hybrid 1.5 type of layers with Arch Network and Middle and all these. It's just like so much potential, right, of scaling Bitcoin. And look, there's a lot of projects that like are from different environments and ecosystems that are here for it. So it's wanted. It's like it's needed, right? And so we're gonna see if they can deliver, because that's what I need to see.
Yeah, and the Lightning Network's built with Rust, right? It's built in a very easy to understand language that a lot of Web 2 guys already use. So for them, it's gonna be pretty easy. And then the best part of Spark 2 is they're using Lightning Rails. So it's just like all you have to do is bring in have a Lightning wallet, and all these guys, they can build these products in Rust and just use a Lightning Network for the transfers. So I think you're going to see a lot of Web 2 companies come on board with this. And if you go to any YouTubers, right, and you say, hey, what do you think about ordinals? A lot of them say the same thing, especially the bigger ones. They say, I don't like the spamming of the Bitcoin layer 1 system. Bitcoin's not made for that, right? So you kind of always kind of get the same thing. And I'm starting to agree with that, right? Like with someone who has used Bitcoin now for degen stuff for the last 2 years, I hate it. Like just using it and waiting the 10 minutes. And then for some reason, anytime that I do something on the blockchain, I get a 40-minute block, even though it'll last like 10 blocks or like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, I get the 40-minute block. It's just, I'm tired of it. And I'm just kind of done with it. I'm looking forward to stuff like Spark. I mean, and Arch and, can actually get some audits done and figure that situation out. I mean, I'm kind of losing faith on Arch a little bit, but Spark seems to be something, because I just think that if Arch was, everything and even possible what they're trying to do, then I think Magic Eden would have chosen them to build, right? Because they were already right there building for runes, but they chose Spark instead because I don't think they believe in what Arch is building.
Possibly. But we're still in this mindset of, and for the audience that's new to this channel, we do talk a little bit deeper into like the technicals a little bit sometimes, and this is kind of a little bit of a segment like that, right? So I do think that we have this, we still have this kind of short-term small mindset, which is warranted because of how our space has been, especially the last 2 years, of how liquidity has been kind of just dry. And it's either you have the liquidity and everybody else doesn't, and it gets passed to the next person, right? So I do think in a future, whether that means a year from now or 3 years from now, we're not going to be having these kind of like, that's the one, that's the only solution, that's the, but right now it is, because that's how our minds work, because that's what the reality is right in front of our face right now. You know what I mean? And so everybody wants this solution to be, come as fast as possible. And it seems like Spark has that spotlight right now. And so they're basically up next, right? We have BRC 2.0 announced on the 17th that they were supposed to have an AMM. They went up to the batter's box and they went up to bat, and it seems like they did not really, perform. And now Sparks is in the batter's box, right? So there's a little break, I guess, until they get up to bat, but we're going to see if they're going to be able to hit a home run here. If they do, then that's a huge opportunity. Right. Also, an interesting thing that's starting to happen too is there's some attention going to the other Bitcoin layer 2s a little bit, right? So you have Hemi that had their IDO already with they're very heavily backed by Binance. They're getting attention. Merlin Chain has done an amazing job with their TVL strategy. It's kept them in very relevant, and now they're starting to thrive. And so the scaling solutions seem to be more of the focus right now, rather than these meta protocols necessarily on layer 1.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin DeFi is going to be something huge. And to your point, I just went and grabbed the Merlin chart. It's just been, it's the daily, right? The last 3 days have been insanely bullish for Merlin. And what Merlin is bringing to the table is they're bringing Bitcoin DeFi in a different sense of, you bridge your Bitcoin over there and they're going to find you yield for that. So it's up to 16%, right? You're seeing big funds kind of get into this involved from TradFi and kind of maybe build something there too. And, right now it does feel like there's a bull run in Asia and it's just not here. And, that's kind of, so you got to start looking into the Asian type of builders like Jeff, like Merlin, like, all these other ones as well, and kind of see what is happening over there and seeing if you can partake in some of the gains, because up 15% in the last 24 hours, and the last 24 hours have been tough for crypto in general. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move along though. We'll jump into the next thing. First, though, I want to get into one of the comments. I actually forgot about this, but let me make sure I do this. Arita says, I've staked my OG pass for TK. So that's good because he had problems with the traverse thing. So I guess he figured that out. So that's good. And real quick, so you do have 1 day and 18 hours left to kind of stake your pass. Right now, it's looking like you're getting 1.2 million TK tokens for staking this, and then we're gonna have another Trench Kitty vault probably in the next 10 days. I'm gonna reach out to Raul once this closes and get probably for October 1st. We're gonna get another Trench Kitty vault up and going, and hopefully get another 5% locked up for this time. It'll probably be 100-day lock or maybe 120-day lock. This one being 90, so kind of space them out a little bit from each other. So definitely look for that. We're still very bullish on Trench Kitty. Maybe we'll have to bridge Trench Kitty over to Spark. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, they have the bridge open, so SAS Terminal's building that, right?
Yeah,
or about to be open.
100%. Anything from the Trump at all? Check Watcher Guru real quick. No. Wow. YouTube finally admitted that the Biden administration pressured them into censoring Americans and offered terminated channels the opportunity to come back. Wow. That's pretty crazy. All right, but let's get into this crypto stuff. So Fed Chairman Powell speaks at 12:35 today at the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce. Expect insights on the Fed's economic outlook, inflation fight, and policy path. So I'm hearing that this is going to be very bearish. He's not going to say anything positive because he knows that one of the tools to fight inflation is his words. And how do you fight inflation? Well, you make everyone feel broke. I mean, that's what he's done for the last 2 years, right? He's made everyone feel broke in the sense of there's no liquidity in the markets at all. They're still tightening. So the only thing positive that he can say on this is, he's thinking about stopping the tightening. So that would be pretty big. He didn't say that last time, but I think maybe so the only positive thing he can say is they're going to pause tightening of selling the bonds into the market. Economic pressures, hopefully that's it. But if he says anything about, I don't know about, I got to wait for data for the next interest rate cut or anything like that, then we could be for a world of hurt today. And I'm almost in the position right now where I'm just like, just send it lower, just so we can kind of get past this. How do you feel about this? And what do you think he's going to say?
Yeah. So, I think he's going to probably try to confuse them, not intentionally, but like maybe, put something out there that gets people to continue their uncertainty. I think that's been a big part of why the price hasn't been consistent as of late. Right. But he knows he's going to be exiting next year. Right. So, maybe he's going to be like, I did my best at the end, to really match up with what we've been consistent with, et cetera, type of situation. But it's still, even though like we've gone through a lot of confusion, the up and downs as of, late, it's hard for me to just accept that, like, we're not going to have like a bullish end of the year. Right. And so that's how I feel about it. Do I want to just get it out of the way? Yeah, I think everybody does. All right. But look, September, I think, there was a good percentage of people that didn't expect September to be super bullish, right? Mm-hmm. There were parts of it to where the energy was there in terms of the upwards trajectory, but definitely this kind of back half has not seemed that way. A bunch of fake outs, if anything, to the upside. So I'm ready for some bullish energy for October. Maybe finish the month, the last couple of days heading into October, but the end of every month is always tricky too, right? So I don't know, man. I'm ready for consistency to the upside.
Yeah, I think we all are at this point. Taking a look at what is happening for October's rate cut right now, we do know it is October 29th, so basically the end of October. We're about 40 days away from that. Or like 33 days away from that or something like that. He's still expecting 88% chance of a cut. So I'll be watching this today during his speech and kind of seeing that. But I hope we don't wake up tomorrow to this being 25-30% chance of no change. That would be pretty drastic to the price action and probably knock some of these prices down. But you do see Bitcoin back above 113. So I'm curious if Trump said anything. But yeah, so we are moving to the upside a little bit there. But yeah.
The 88%, that last thing, the 88% though does make me feel pretty good, because before we got into the high percentage of this last rate cut, I think the highest this entire year was like in the 60s. So for us to at least still maintain at 88, I still feel pretty good about October. I feel good about it.
Yeah, October is still 88, but and then December is looking like 80. So this is still really good. I mean, in the sense, and then, but looking at January just looks a little bleak though at 50, almost 50%, no change. But we'll see. Still a 41% chance of a change though. So we'll see. We'll see. Moving along though. So everyone is so happy that the SEC is looking at crypto in a different way, right? But we have to understand that there's a lot of maxis still in the area of the SEC, and Hester Peirce does seem to be a little bit of a Bitcoin maxi. She's pro decentralization, I get it, but you have to be patient, right? So let's get into the next story here, which is SEC cloud looming over L2s. Coinbase CLO Paul Grewal and Base's Jesse Pollock say sequencers are just infrastructure, but SEC's Hester Peirce warns centralized matching engines could be forced to register as exchanges. Base admits it's only at stage 1 decentralization. Regulators circle. So what is happening? We had them come out last week and basically say, hey, like, we're thinking about having a token. We do realize now that the token is no longer a thing that they want. It is a necessity. Why is it a necessity? Well, you need a token to have people have say in the chain. For instance, right, the governance tokens are more important than most people realize. Governance tokens actually keep it decentralized in the eyes of the SEC. If you have a token, that allows the people holding the token to vote on processes. Right now, the only people that are voting on processes for the base chain anyway are Jesse Pollock and Brian Armstrong and that group, right? So right now, nothing about base is decentralized. Nothing is in the hands of the users. Everything is in the hands of Coinbase itself until this token. So that is kind of why it is no longer, a thing that maybe happened. It is now a priority for them because they see Hester Peirce saying decentralize it or become an exchange. What do you think about this? The SEC looming over some of these L2s?
I think it's fair, to be honest, because they already have a centralized exchange, and then the way that they're, utilizing Base, and I get it, it's early days, but then I think what the SEC should do is probably start to set deadlines for chains that are planning to go be decentralized, right? And so that way, when you file for the paperwork to be, viewed as a decentralized entity, then you have that expectation from the regulator that they're setting for you at the end of the day. I think that's the fairest way to approach it.
So what do you say? Hey, you have 1 year to decentralize. You remember Base launched in October of 2023. It launched the same time as the like right before everything happened with FTX, right? Base launched, and then so it has been a few years now, but we do realize that Base is just getting started, right? It's a very, very, very small ecosystem that really hasn't really had a bull market to kind of bring people in yet or bring stuff in. So I really hope that we just gotta give these blockchains and stuff and not force them to rush into something, because you got to remember too, right now they can make changes right away. They can make a change that they can talk about doing an internal change, make the change happen. Within 2 days, the devs potentially can put that chain in. They do like a soft fork and get that happening right now. All right, but if you have a token, you might have to wait 2 weeks just to get this thing passed to do something. So like your decentralization is very slow in the sense of governance because you have to give people enough time, so if something that needs to be changed right now, you can't just push that change through. You have to actually get the governance vote to do that. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it's a problem, but you have to be clear on the way that you view things. And we asked for clarity, and she's giving it. So, I don't know what the time is going to be for. So that's another thing too. The SEC needs to come up with that's a fair kind of deadline on consistent deadline on average, right? And so they launched in 2023, and that was way before this new administration came in, and so the approach to launching Base wasn't what it would be today. What it would be today would be like, okay, let's make sure that we have a strong plan to, let's say that like they do come up with this deadline that's kind of standard, right, default deadline across the board or whatever. Then they would, if they launched today, they would already have a plan on how to get this decentralized, not necessarily as fast as possible, but like into the deadline. That should be a fair deadline, whether that's 2 years, 4 years, whatever they come up with. But the planning, the business planning behind it is different completely, right? So I think they probably get a little bit of a leeway, a little bit here, just because this was before the SEC is going to implement this type of situation. But they do need to come up with, in my opinion, like a standard, because we asked for this. This is what we asked for, and they're giving it. So that's why I'm okay with what she's trying to do here. She obviously needs to be fair about it and not be like, okay, you need to decentralize this in a month or anything. And also, we don't know what the communication's been, internal or behind the curtain between the SEC and them. Maybe they've been talking about this for like a year or 2 years. Who knows? But one thing for sure is that this is going to be new. Like this is going to be the new approach. Not necessarily this exactly, but having clarity, and that's what we all wanted.
100%. And the best part of this, though, is like the base team is talking about a zero allocation to the base team, to the base foundation, and actually doing 100% airdrop to all the users, not only the users on the chain, but actually Coinbase users as well. That's what I'm kind of hearing right now. If you have a Coinbase account, you might wake up one morning with base tokens in your Coinbase account just for using Coinbase, but not just them. If you have used the chain at all, you can actually double dip. So if you haven't opened the Coinbase account, highly recommend doing so. And if you haven't used the base network, I highly recommend doing so as well. And maximize your airdrop the best you can, because that's going to be something, if I'm correct on this, and this is just a rumor, but if they airdrop 100% to the Coinbase users and to the people on the chain, they're going to come into the market and they're going to buy up everyone dumping, and they're going to want you to dump that, right? So they can buy it back for the foundation, and using the Coinbase money to do so, actually have a liquidity pool on the exchange right away, ready to go, so they can actually have you sell it back to them. Because who's the buyer on Coinbase, right? Coinbase is. So if everyone's going to Coinbase to sell the token, that's a win for them, because they don't got to do anything. They got to sit and wait for you to actually give them back their token.
Yeah, I wonder what if that is true or not, because I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
If they get
that's kind of because Coinbase had a huge data leak. This is kind of it could be another way to kind of repay the users for that, right? Basically paying you for your data leak. Because I know if you all have a Coinbase account, you're all in the same boat as me, to where you get 900 text messages saying, hey, you're Coinbase, like here's your Coinbase password, and all this dumb shit that happens every day. Do not fall for any of that stuff. If you ever have a problem with Coinbase, go to the Coinbase app and contact support that way. Do not do it through these third-party text messages and bullshit. But Vitalik had something to say on this, though. He said Base is doing things the right way. An L2 on top of Ethereum that uses its centralized features to provide stronger UX features while still being tied into Ethereum's decentralized base layer for security. Base does not have custody over your funds. They cannot steal your funds or stop you from withdrawing funds. This is part of the L2 beat stage 1 definition. You can see Base's status right here. He says, I feel many people have confused by recent criticism to think that things like L2 beat are weird sort of nerd Sharia compliant. I don't know, some bullshit. But anyway, this is what we mean when we say L2s are not custodial. They are extensions of Ethereum, not glorified servers. So he basically came out and said, we want centralized L2s, like, because they're getting the security of the L1. This is exactly what we want. So he actually came out against Hester Peirce and saying Ethereum needs decentralized UX platforms to make sure the users have the best experience while still putting all the transactions on Ethereum itself.
You think he is saying that because he wants to continually encourage using Ethereum as, the gas tokens for these layers?
Yeah, and on top of that, he doesn't want Sonium to be forced to potentially build internally instead of building,
not rely on
Ethereum. Yeah,
which I mean, as a lead of the founder of Ethereum, and if you're a huge whale holder, this is exactly what you want Vitalik to say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's sticking up for the product that Ethereum is and how he views it as like being a huge scaling potential upside, right? So
yeah, it's one of those things that he wants these, he wants Amazon to basically fork Ethereum and have an L2, right? On top of it, and that way and stuff like that. He doesn't want these companies to to say, hey, like this is a centralized blockchain. Like this is our internal feature. That's not good for crypto, right? Having all these companies with centralized blockchains, he actually wants them to finalize on Ethereum. They can be centralized to a point, but once those transactions are done and put on Ethereum, they're locked in forever, right? That's the blockchain. But until then, he's okay with it being a little centralized in the sense of, making sure that Robinhood has control over their situation. If anything goes wrong, they want to be a part of it and stuff like that, not have to wait 2 weeks for a governance vote to be able to roll back the chain or something, right? Because something really went wrong. He wants them to have full control over these, but still, when it's time to finalize, you finalize on Ethereum, and once it's finalized, there is no going back.
Yeah, but the team could. I don't know. I was going to say the team could get majority of the tokens, but then it would go back to being more centralized by them, right? If they were to do that, so or at least have control back. And even though technically you'd still be using governance, it would basically be the same thing, except for they would have to buy the tokens back, or they hold.
You got to wait. You got to wait multiple weeks to make a change.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. Having to wait to make a change.
Because the vote has to be over.
You can't just have a vote for one day. It's just, I don't think that's
I mean, you can make it like 3 days. I mean, just to make it more convenient for your team.
Still, though, imagine right now if Base has an issue, they can get it fixed in an hour.
Yeah, but right? I mean, look, dude, Solana breaks that all the time. They did that, whenever they had that issue where, they actually pushed that vote through in half a day, I think. Remember? Like, they were like, we voted on it. We voted on it. We voted on it. Like, who voted? Like, the team has probably like 60% of the tokens at the time or something. You know what I mean? So there's ways around that.
Yeah.
But you don't want. But look what they lost They lost some respect because of that too.
I mean, everyone thinks that they're a very centralized bullshit blockchain, right? So I mean, Base doesn't want that, right? If you're gonna be centralized, be centralized. If you're gonna be decentralized, be decentralized. You can't be both. So we'll see. Let's move along though. Rainbow. Okay, so let's talk about Rainbow for a second because this is absolutely insane, right? So Rainbow, they're a wallet on Ethereum. They're Ethereum only wallet. I think they have Base. They have all the L2s and stuff like that. I looked into it. So they're EVM only. And what they have done is they've announced last week that they're going to be having a token, the Rainbow token. It's going to be out there. So, but they see an opportunity with Clanker. Clanker is an Ethereum L1 and L2 launchpad. Think pump fund. And so this is actually really interesting. Let me actually read this to you guys. So this is huge. Rainbow has dropped a proposal to acquire Clanker and fold it into the Rainbow ecosystem. 4% of the RNBW airdrop to Clanker holders. 100% of the Clanker LP fees to the community forever. Clanker becomes permanent pillar of Rainbow. This changes everything. But hold on. Then you have Clanker come out and they say last month Rainbow approached Clanker about potential acquisition. After some discussions, we decided that it wasn't the right fit and let them know last Thursday. On Friday, Rainbow reached back out threatening to publish a public letter if we didn't respond. After we told them again that we wouldn't be going forward with the deal, they published a letter today without our consent. We are not excited about working at Rainbow, which is pretty funny, especially after how we were treated and don't plan to continue. Sorry, Jack, but your opinion doesn't matter when you have a token, when you have a governance token. So what happens with governance token, and every project wants a governance token until you get 51% attacked. What do I mean by 51% attacked? So if somebody comes in and they say, hey, we want to change the fee wallet for this token right now, you're getting the fees, but we want to change that. And the protocol is like, no, well, all they got to do is put a governance proposal out there and say, hey, we want to change the fee wallet to our wallet. And if it gets 51% of the vote, the team is pretty much has to come in and they got to make the change that the governance happened, right? And if not, there's gonna be severe lawsuits and stuff like that because the foundation needs to push this through. So now it looks like Rainbow wants to change the fee wallet to a wallet that airdrops all the holders of Clanker and Rainbow. So this is pretty nuts. What do you think about this? The kind of the first one we've ever seen. Governance actually coming in and kind of taking over.
Well, the first one that we've seen that's I think probably a couple bigger projects, right? This stuff happens in TradFi, right? I mean, when you have huge entities investing in more than 50% of a stock, they get control, right? And so it's interesting seeing it in our space because now you're
Yeah.
doing it from a digital asset perspective, which is completely wild. And you know, we're gonna start to see like legal cases playing out because of this, right? And what does that look like? You know, because now these judges are gonna have to really be well versed on lawyers too on digital asset law and you know, governance and DAOs and all these things to where governance actually goes through and it makes sense. And then you prove them in a court of law, and then they have to, yeah. The bad part about this though is, you know, Clanker could really like end up like with not much. You know what I mean? The team, because if or you know, Rainbow could just be like, okay, you guys work for us, like they said, we don't want to work for them. But I mean, they could have probably sold their institution or had some good deal, or sold their protocol, had
They got
some
to sell
good
the
deal.
tokens down.
Yeah, have some good deal. But now it seems like they don't have any leverage at all. So
No,
it's kind of
nothing.
scary.
Well, this is something me and you both talk about. Like, does governance really matter? Like, people with these governance tokens, yeah, it's a way around the Howey test, right? Because it makes you not a security. But now you put yourself in jeopardy of someone just going into the market and buying 51% of your tokens, or contacting a bunch of your whales and saying, hey, we want to make this change. Are you down with this? And it only takes a few whales to own, let's say this person owns 6%, 11%, 8%. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. You own 40%. Let's make these changes that we want. So now you take it out of the hands of the team. So, you know, the team building it. And you might say, oh, wow, well, the team can just, you know, fork the program and then start over. But, you know, the Clanker name is what they want. The Clanker platform is working great, right? Like,
community.
The Pump Fund, people can go create another Pump Fund, but it won't ever be as big as Pump Fund because it has that you know, that years of working great,
Branding.
has a community, like you said, the branding, and branding is a big deal. I mean, you're someone who's been, you know, doing branding stuff for teams for a long time, and you understand the how big of a deal branding is. Just because something is a copy of something doesn't mean it'll ever be as big as the original. Right. And there is like situations like Abster, for instance, right, which could be bigger than Hyperliquid one day because of the backing. So there is counter arguments to that as well, saying, hey, they could build something bigger in the future. They could, obviously they could, but I love this. I really do, because it's like, it's governance in action. It's actually everything that separates us from TradFi. And I love seeing that. And obviously there is 51% of tax over there, but you have to get the board to agree, which is, you know, it's all politics and stuff. This is a little bit different.
Well, you got to get some people to agree if you don't hold 51%, right? So you still got to do that.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's laws in TradFi to kind of make sure that they don't get basically completely like wiped out. You know what I mean? With like nothing, you know, like founders or something and stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be some black and white laws that come through for this as well.
They
to
still
where
have the token, right? So they can actually go the opposite route and try to get 51% themselves.
Yeah, they could, you know, but that's my point, is that like there's got to be some sort of you know, fail safes or something to where, because if that's the case, then like BlackRock could literally clear out every single company. You know what I mean? They could, but like what my point is, like leave them with nothing.
They can buy Facebook though. They can come in and just buy Facebook, all the shares off Facebook market.
Yeah. So I'm sure that there's certain parts of that to where they don't have power over, like for example, taking all the money in the bank account that is, you know, from the corporation or something, you know what I mean, or and stuff like that. So that's where I think we need some, you know, clear-cut laws for this stuff as well. But until then, until it's there, you know, this is a, you know, 4D chess move, it seems like, from Rainbow's side.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And the biggest part of it, no one heard of Rainbow until like yesterday, right? I mean, I've never used their wallet. I never heard of Clanker until yesterday, but now I know both of these. So, I mean, this is, I don't know. I know I'm probably like the 1% of this, but I actually love this. I love watching this play out in real time. I feel like this is like entertainment. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is so cool, and it's innovative. It's different. It's different than anything we've ever seen before in crypto. So it's one of those things where it's like, I hope we see more of this. And I hope, you know, I hope people don't get hurt from this, but this is benefiting the Clanker holders. This is benefiting the future Rainbow holders, right? because now you're going to get, as a rainbow holder, you're going to get Clanker fees forever.
Yeah. Also, this was, I think, what the expectation was, though, a long time ago. It just didn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough momentum and stuff like that for these kind of situations to play out. So, I mean, but if you go like on any major chain, if you go on any major like that has a token, there's always governance, and there's a governance section. And I'm learning that right now, going through all these chains, that like how seriously they take it. And so the idea of governance back in 2017 and 2018 and 2019, and then little bit played out in 2020 and 2021 is really starting to play out and to take form, which is an exciting thing, because you hear about all these things, and then once it actually happens, you're like, oh, okay, so that's kind of how they envision this to be. But again, new laws will come into place, I think, just to protect certain aspects of things. But yeah, interesting and definitely entertaining for sure.
Yeah, man. Loving the Kick comments, by the way. We don't get a lot of people on Kick, so just want to say we go through all the comments, just so you know. We're going to be doing that in a few minutes, but first we got a few more things to get into, and then we'll jump in all the comments there that we have right now. First, let's kind of get into the next thing, which is roll call. Oh, sorry, not roll call. Why is roll call there? There it is. Fear and greed. All right, so crypto fear and greed. Last week we were at a 50. Yesterday we're at a 47. I'm gonna give you a hard one today because it's been kind of easy for you. We are lower than 47 by a lot.
Okay, 47 by a lot. So 41.
Pretty much, I'll give it to you. You got right at 40. I hate this. I hate that we're basically in fear. We are in fear for the first time in a long time. We haven't been in fear since almost, I want to say, March or April. And right now, the whole crypto ecosystem is sitting here in fear. How do you feel about being in fear for the first time in a while?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's all just like confusing everybody right now with fear and greed. And then like I'm looking at the altcoin season score, which is 68, which is actually not too horrible, what I mean? And so I'm just like, okay, what is it, or where are we? And I just think that we are in a time of kind of confusion a bit, right? But I do think we get out of it, we get more clear skies in terms of where the markets are heading. And I mean, like last week, the alt market was actually pretty good. Remember, it was pretty green for the most part, and people were talking about the altcoins going up against Ethereum a little bit, and then now they're kind of just like 50-50 for the alt markets, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones that really just getting whipped a bit. But like I said, there will be a time where things get more clear. As of right now, September looks a bit foggy.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's jump to the next thing here. Bitcoin price action. I'm not really excited to look into this today, but it's what we do here. We dump into it every day, no matter what the price action is. And this is brought to you guys by the great guys over at Artura.finance. Artura, these guys are building, think Hyperliquid, think Aster. They are building something like that for the Botonics blockchain. So what is a perps leverage exchange? Well, that allows you to go, if you, let's just say you have $100, if you go 10x leverage, that lets you take out $1,000 and go against whatever asset you would like to. So you either short or long. So basically, but if you get hit, if the price hits too hard, you get liquidated, which means they come in and take all your money. So it is a gamble. Spot is the way to go. But if you want to play leverage and you want to play on a Bitcoin L2, Artura is your spot to do so. Artura, right now, you guys can actually potentially get an airdrop. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because yesterday they did announce the ARA token, and it's now pre-sale. And then, right now they have this point system where if you get on this leaderboard, you will potentially be given some ARA tokens, or some. I know first place is $5,000 USDC. If you get this first place spot, you will get $5,000 in USDC. And if you don't, then you get split up against some other USDC prizes as well. But you definitely want to take advantage of coming here, making some trades. You hit the trade button, you can kind of go down from there, and you can actually see your trades and everything. I have a couple of trades right now that are getting hit pretty damn hard. especially in the P&L aspect of this. So I put $20 in here, and I'm down 29. So that's not good. So I don't know what's going on with these trades, but definitely if you do make a trade, make sure you make it on Artura.finance there, and make sure you get on the leaderboard. But if you're interested in just buying the token outright, they do have their launch. It's FJORD. This is their pre-sale where you can come here and you can buy the token if you're interested. Did it not come up?
My bad. No, sorry. I got you.
Okay,
there you
cool.
go.
So, oh shit, you didn't see the Artura thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that part.
All right, cool. I wasn't sure if my screen was showing. So yeah, so you guys can come to fjordfoundry.com and just go to Artura's X account for the actual link, and you guys can purchase if you're interested. This is not something you have to do at all, but $16 million valuation for this token as it is. But very bullish on Artura, very bullish on the perps exchanges right now.
Yep, excited about that. And make sure you don't miss the 2 p.m. Eastern Trader's Edge. We're gonna have that team on today, and they're gonna go over the IDO and all that information there. But yeah, let's take a look at some Bitcoin price action. Actually, before that, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like, sub to the channel, turn your notifications on, all those great things. On the X side, let's share the space. Let's get hit those likes as well. Same thing with Abstract. See some viewers over there too. Love that Abstract community. Twitch, Kick, Rumble as well, and Spotify. Don't forget that. All right, let's take a look here at the Bitcoin price action on the hour chart. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It has been really, really tough to kind of determine the direction of Bitcoin the past couple days. Going back to Sunday, really. And last Sunday as well. It's just been really hard. And that's what's throwing me off is my indicators aren't really helping me too much here. But, you can see we have really just kind of slid down going back to, last Thursday, I think it was. If you look here, we were at 118. And now, we've wicked all the way down to like 111.5. So it's $7,000 swing to the downside, right? And we have had some buy pressure, but it hasn't really been much. I mean, you see that buy pressure starting here on the hour chart yesterday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. Didn't really get any rallies, really strong rallies or, sustained momentum or anything. And so, the indicators, the MACD indicator is kind of telling me that it wants to stay open, but how much more juice does it have? It didn't have much to begin with. You can see here, we didn't really start a strong uptrend or anything like that, right? So we might just have to get through this week, guys. Honestly, if you look at the entire month of September, it hasn't been horrible for like Bitcoin. It's been up and down. But this last, I would say, 5 days, and then maybe the rest of this week might be a tough week of September, kind of your traditional September, something that is traditionally not necessarily like aggressively to the upside, right? October is a better month if you look on average, I believe so. But let's take a look here for the rest of today. It's going to be really tough to kind of determine if we build an uptrend, but having this downtrend since last Thursday, you got to imagine at some point it's going to turn around, right? But for the rest of today, I would just be watching this honestly to see if we do break out. Now, you got to break the trend, which it's been sideways, right? So there really hasn't been any indication that we're gonna break it yet. If you take a look here, you can go take a line and you can bring it all the way back from last Thursday and, kind of had this downtrend. That means that we got a long way to go to even get back to the trend line, right? So we need to get up here and then break above it, right? So we need to hit this 114 to about 114,300 mark, right? To even get back up to this trend line and then break above that. So 115 would be kind of getting out of this downtrend. So going from 113 to 115, it's definitely doable. It's a $2,000 swing, but we need to see some aggressive push to the upside. And I just don't know if we're going to get that today. And if you look at the support and resistance as well, let's see if we can get some conviction from that side of things, right? You can see here, support and resistance at the 112, 113 level. It's not showing us very much support here. Above that balanced, and then above that a little bit of an advantage to support, but nothing that's dominating on the support side. If anything, we're seeing more resistance dominating, right? You get down here and you see some support kind of catch this area right here, low volume. So yeah, until we see some aggressive push to the upside, I'm going to say we're going to keep going sideways here. That's what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm thinking based on this hour chart. Now on the 4 hour, there is opportunity. I said that yesterday, though, that the opportunity was going to be there. Let's see if we can actually close this up and then head to the upside. If we do see that happening, I'll feel definitely more confident that we can head towards that 115 area for Bitcoin, but need to see an aggressive push up and close this, have the fast line cross over the orange slow line there. So that is the 4 hour for you guys. The daily just started the sell pressure. So we would have to really kind of come out of this that's already started. So that's kind of making me feel that we might have, sideways to a little bit of a downside for the rest of this week as well. So that's Bitcoin for you guys. Ethereum, hour chart, kind of similar. It looks like it's still open on the buy side, but the stochastics definitely looks like it wants to come down. So I would not be shocked this actually closes up. Probably that means Bitcoin as well, is going to bring this down to kind of finish this off here. Taking a look at daily on Ethereum, looks bloody here. You can see, this is just looking really bad in terms of the momentum for the MACD for Ethereum as well. But yeah, maybe we get that announcement, all those, huge KOLs like the Wendy O's and all these people saying there's going to be a huge announcement on Tuesday. I don't see anything yet that's affecting the price on the positive side of things here. But yeah, so that's Bitcoin, Ethereum for you guys. Let's go to the crypto bubbles. Alts aren't looking horrible. You see some of these, Aster obviously continuing its run, right? Up 43%. Goodness gracious. Like, how high is this going to go? It's at 3.3 billion. I think it was at 2.4, 2.5 yesterday. So that's a pretty strong jump up. And then you got Mix as well, which is another perps and leverage kind of opportunity on the Binance Smart Chain as well, right? So perps and leverage seem to be the hot narrative, and so try to find some of those good opportunities there. The meme coins seem to be kind of taking a little bit of a slide back here. You see SPX pulling back there. You got Hex up 4%. So surprisingly, this is about like an 85% pull up for alts in the top 100. So a little shocking to see that. That's a good sign though. In the top 200, it's a little bit more red than the top 100 here, but still looking pretty decent, honestly, for alts here as well, right?
Yeah, but it does look like a lot of them are the these perps, right? AVNT is a perp. Bard, Bitcoin DeFi though, that's good to see, but got beaten down pretty bad.
That's Lombard.
Yeah, it's Lombard.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What's ASIC? Can you put over ASIC or AIC? What is that?
AI companions.
Companions.
Companions. Yeah. Yeah, and then you see
XLR
here.
Yeah.
Barachain up. I mean, the ones that aren't perps that are up, they're like 1% to 2%. Maybe
you gotta remember though, yesterday everything was so beaten down that like a lot of these had to have bounce backs, right? A lot of them were completely oversold.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I think this looks better than what I expected.
Hemi.
Wow.
Damn.
Hemi has a huge rise up here. Definitely thriving in that aspect, right? So you see that. And then
look at Dog top right.
Dog up 4% there. Where's Merle at? Merle is definitely, so they're on the
178 page 2.
Yeah, so they're up what? Oh, so they're down 1% on the day, but they're still at like 33 cents. Oh, they're in this category. So they're
I'm seeing up 12% since 8 p.m. last night. So
yeah, you're probably looking at CoinGecko, right? Or are you on your TradingView?
TradingView. Yeah,
gotcha.
it resets at 8 p.m. So this is where it's up 12% from 8 p.m. last night.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, this is not as bad as I thought for the alts. Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, they don't look too great.
Yeah, not fun at all. Let's jump over to our next thing here. The roll call. Man, I messed this up. All right, I gotta get ready. Okay, roll call. So on this show, we got to go through. We take the specific time and we jump through all the comments at one time. If you are new here, this is kind of why we don't really get to the comments during the show. We'd like to put on a good show first and then come jump into the comments later. But we do take the first comment on YouTube. Every single day, we put it into a spreadsheet. Congratulations today. It's my guy, Tim Baker, AODR himself. And let me actually show you guys the spreadsheet itself here. And Tim Bakes has win number 12. Congratulations to Tim Baker. So right now, we do know that it is Lucky Lukey with 44 in the lead there. But hey, it might be worth it to become in, second and third place. So definitely want to be a part of that if you can be the first comment. So that's that. Let's jump into the rest of the comments here. We got Arita TV say I staked my OG pass. Yeah, man. If you guys have an OG pass, make sure you stake it. It's stupid not to. Bitcoin is Truth is here. Shout out to you, my friend. Abstract is here, my guy. K99, you guys are here every single day. Satoshi Nakamoto, Spin Drift, my guy said Sparks is going to be huge. Yeah, I really think so. Vader Time is here. So it's time. Lackey Lukey is here. GMTK. ASAP Benji is here. Glasshopper is here. Super fan, my guy. Stan said the channel called it. Aster looking juicy. We did. We called it at like 70 cents. That it was something to definitely pay attention to. Stewart is here. He says humans don't like chains, but chain links do. I don't. What is a chain link?
Chain links? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what that is. He's like, got any change? Chief Axel is here. Coach Cats, we like to call him here. Cash Cats himself with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out that Cash Cats. Appreciate you, my friend. Pro Crypto is here. He says Liquidium staking site went live yesterday. Stake LIQ and receive SLIQ. So bullish on Bitcoin DeFi. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm bullish on layer 2 Bitcoin DeFi, not layer 1. Are they doing that on layer 2? I have to.
Right? I'm bullish on Liquidium because they're open-minded to using scaling solutions.
I used to be, but the fact that they're a rune, I think is a reason why they're being held back here. Unless they can bridge it all for runes, which I think they have, right?
You can bridge, to Spark. You can bridge to other scaling solutions as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if they have
bridging isn't the problem. They need a liquidity pool. They're going to add liquidity to these pools.
I mean, they have one on DotSwap, right? I think.
Yeah, it's very small. So, it's like 12K.
Yeah, so I think with them, it's continually just building up their revenue because eventually, like, they can do whatever they need to do, for a token, down the line.
I think that they got to get off Bitcoin L1 though. They got to be doing some stuff on these other L2s and stuff. I think building on L1 is kind of I think it's a cancer right now. I really do. I think any builder who's building on L1 that's not like preparing to build in other places like Sats Terminal, building on Spark and stuff like that. I think it's a huge mistake. I just don't think L1 comes back this year, but we'll see. Stan is here. Myself says being in the midst of negativity and pessimism is a training ground. If you conquer it with an optimistic spirit and a positive outlook, it will strengthen your resolve and make you unshakable. I feel like this is a quote out of like a Tony Robbins book or something. I don't know.
But like I mean, he's right though. And the reason why I say that is like I remember one of my buddies that was pretty good at basketball, and we would play one-on-one all the time. And this is a simple example, but he would always like just be down on himself every shot he missed. And I'm beating him, and I'm just sitting. I'm having to tell him, and be like, "Hey, dude, like you're good. Just you'll hit the next shot." And I'm like, I feel like I'm like his dad or something like that. But like it affected that friend in every sport he played. He would just get so negative on like a miss or something like that. You can't do that because if you do that, you're going to just perform poorly.
Gotta be a goldfish. Gotta forget about
exactly.
Learn the lessons, but forget about.
But a smart goldfish. If they're
Hydro Sabian is here, my guy. Stan says Trump just announced AI will utilize for biological weapons verification. Yeah, I don't think That's not going to pump Bitcoin's price though. So I thought none of that matters to me. Hydro Sabian, Rick G is here. Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine himself. Mike Dupoints is GM. Trench Kitties from Soul Fun Meme. If you need a DevSec ops, let me know. DevSec ops? I don't know what that is.
Operations? I don't know.
Yeah. Stewart is here. He says Polymarket nice. Stan says if Coinbase is granted a banking license, will that destabilize the economy since Coinbase can offer incentives the traditional bank can't?
So we've talked about this a little bit. I think that they're going to try to protect the traditional banks. So maybe there's certain products, and we've already seen it a little bit with Circle or like the Genius Act, to where the stablecoin issuers can't offer yield products. But maybe that's something that they're passing down to banks that decide to go into the digital asset world or whatever. But in theory, yeah, it would definitely destabilize. Well, I don't know about destabilize the economy, it destabilize the banking sector for sure, because you're talking about, instead of people, and they don't care about the everyday person as much, like putting money in CDs and stuff. They care about the big people that are earning like 4% on their money or whatever, that say, oh, I can earn 6% in Ethereum, staked Ethereum, or higher than that with other options.
Yeah, and those people, though, the bigger money people, they don't do any of that shit themselves, right? They have they put their money with places like BlackRock and these large corporations that that's their number one job, right? Even Ray Dalio, he has his own company that manages money for you, but you need to have like $10 million or minimum to invest with them, right? So that's the people that Coinbase. That's not Coinbase's clientele. Coinbase's clientele is the everyday user. So I don't know. I think them having a banking license would be fine. It would just be a separate entity than Coinbase itself, or maybe you just hold your money in USDC, and if you want to withdraw, you can. I don't know.
They do have enterprise though, because they have accounts with, like, they custody stuff for people. So I'm sure that they could easily roll
entities,
products
right?
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, I think they will, but like, I just think that like they're entities. They play with BlackRock, right? It's not like me and you can't sign up for that, or it's not something like,
are you
you
talking
know what I
about
mean?
like high value clients on an individual basis? Is
It's
what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. If you want to do that, you still have to go through BlackRock. You have to go through Fidelity, right? You can't just because I have $10 million. They're gonna tell me to like kick rocks, right? I can't get into that, right? But if I can go into Coinbase itself and buy those products. But if you want to use those high net worth you need to go through one of the bigger ones who take a fee for that as well. So I think Coinbase does that too, is like a so they don't get in trouble directly from going to the consumer. It'll be BlackRock who's doing the investment for you.
Plus, that would ruin the relationship with them. And they look at
Yes,
that, it's kind of like those high value law firms. Like
exactly.
if they steal each other's clients, they they don't. That's a big deal. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%, 100%. And like so, and yeah, exactly. They don't want to ruin the situation they have with BlackRock and stuff. So they won't even take you on unless you go through one of them traditional finance places. But if you want to just deposit your money into Coinbase, that's no problem. But yeah, we'll see. But I mean, Coinbase basically is a bank. If I have USDC there, and now I have a debit card potentially that I can access my USDC with, that I can go to, I don't know, if I buy sneakers, I can just swipe that card. What's the difference from them in a bank? Right.
I think it would be protections. I think it would be like some sort of like FDIC type of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
What does it look like from that perspective? Which is another reason why I don't think these high value net worth people would go through would do any digital asset stuff unless it was through one of their brokerages. Yep.
Myself says open source, public, borderless, censorship resistant. This is what crypto was founded on. Yeah, I mean, we agree. We 100% agree with that, right? But at the same time, at first, it takes time to decentralize, and I don't want to like rush them into decentralizing, and it ruin, it could really mess up people with hacks and stuff like that, and people could lose a lot of money if it's not done right. Like I don't want to see Coinbase base chain get hacked, and then they can't stop it because they're waiting for people to vote on it. So,
Yeah.
Stan says if Base exits ETH, oh shit, they're not going to exit ETH. Myself says unfortunately there's no decentralized bridges yet. What? No, Layer 0 is a decentralized bridge. I'm pretty sure Wormhole is too. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he's talking about Bitcoin.
Oh, for Bitcoin, yeah. There is no
Bitcoin is
decentralized bridges.
MPC is, I think, the closest approach.
And that's still not decentralized, right? There's still a trust.
Yeah, I mean, but you can mix it. Yeah, you can try to scale that as much as possible, kind of like Botanics does. Which, I mean, when does it actually is considered? Unless you just can never have that decentralized option with an MPC, no matter how many loops and hoops you try to put out there to make it feel like they couldn't exploit it.
Lightning Network is decentralized, right? Decentralized. So when you put your Bitcoin in a channel, it's still the same. So bridging to a Spark is actually the most decentralized way of doing it.
Or Lightning in general.
Well, yeah, Lightning in general, but yes, because Spark just uses Lightning Network, right? So eventually down the line, when you have Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, you're going to be easily able to use it in the Spark ecosystem.
Yeah, I don't know that enough about Lightning, but the one thing that I remember when we were learning a lot about the fundamentals of Bitcoin and how it worked, the one phrase that I would always hear is that the only true from a tech stack angle layer 2 was Lightning.
100%. Kristen is here. She said yes, that's true. Well said. Christian, I don't know. I don't mean to misgender you. Truly interest. So funny. Morgar says, I love that we are in fear. We are watching the new tycoons fight for positions. The railroad industry, electricity industry, and telecom have the Mag 7 equivalent. And at this point, price doesn't matter. Maybe price don't matter to you, Morgar, but price matters to me, buddy. All right.
But what he's talking about is exactly the way I feel. But even me, like knowing that, and because I've been repeating kind of this phrase in some sort of sense, is that like we're in this new financial structure. There's kind of rough patches and forming this and stuff like that. But even though I know that, like, it's still hard for me to like have like when I see a consistent like 2 or 3 days of just Bitcoin and Ethereum not following what some of these indicators are pointing to, or struggling and stuff like that. When you see assets like the stock, some of the strong assets in the stock market like S&P or NASDAQ or gold, thriving. So it's kind of hard in those sense. But he's right in the sense of just zoom out a little bit, because I think the opportunity is going to be different, but it's going to be more it's going to consistently be there in different ways.
The problem, though, is the builders, right? The problem is people are building really cool stuff, but there's no users. So if number don't go up, we don't get no users. So if you can't really have a product that has no users and sustain longevity, because you need runway. So yeah, we're sitting here talking about we're in fear and stuff, and it's we're getting a lot of stuff. But if 50% of the crypto people leave because they're forced to, or they're just bored and they're just tired of it, we have no users. So yeah, it does suck. The number go up is users. Number go up technology is bringing more people in. We can build the best shit ever on chain, but if no one's here to use it, then what's the point?
Yeah, so I think that's where the experiences kind of come in my opinion, and I know it's really hard, because you think about something like Forex or just options trading from the traditional markets, right? Forex literally is like looking at charts and trying to do like kind of price action and determine, right, like all these different currencies, and then you make money that way. And then options is you're doing like trading options for these companies. But crypto in Web3, digital assets, whatever you want to call it, it's not just finance. There's also like an experience, and I think that we've had our focus on only the financial part, the monetary experience, and that does rely on number go up or number go down. And if you want to have like this next boom of innovation, that's where I think the experience layer comes in, right? Which
100%.
we'll always talk about charts, we'll always talk about new projects and number go up and number go down. That won't go away. But once that experience layer comes in to where it's like, man, an example of that, like the collectibles market, I think they get really into like the sports aspect of it. It's football season right now. Who's playing good? That's awesome to talk about. And then you decide what cards you want to get or what cards you want to sell and stuff like that's the experience layer. That's why that industry has thrived over time. And I think we get that, but they're trying to figure out what experiences and what narratives are going to be that to where the consumers and the mass adopters don't care about number go up, even though like the people that are in the weeds like us and we look at charts and stuff, we care about that as well. But those experiences, those are the things that are going to get people excited. You know, AI, GameFi, once like an actual, like not what we experienced in 2021 or 2020, you know, something that's like they don't care about the number go up, they care about the game itself, and then the financial layer below it is just how they buy and sell things or something like that. You get what I'm saying? And so I think that's coming for sure. But that's whenever I think we'll have more consistency to where we're not so dependent on number go up or number go down.
No, 100%. But you need mass adoption first, right? You need people to come in and say, "Oh, wow, this is cool." But how do you get that number go up? Right? You need people to come here and just be like, "Oh, what's this?" And then be here a whole bear market with these companies still making money. Let's just say we're dealing with a bear market with Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 40%, right? But then there's this company that is just having amazing sales, and they're not dropping. Their token isn't dropping, right? That's when mass adoption is. So we can get these companies, and there is products out there that people can use right now, like Courtyard and stuff like that. The problem is there's no mass adoption for people to try them for the first time, but that comes with Ethereum hitting $10,000. That happens with Bitcoin hitting $200,000. That happens with, AVAX going up and someone saying, "Oh, wow, what's this AVAX ecosystem?" That all comes from number go up, and that's mass adoption. And I think we do see that in the upcoming years.
But so to your point, I think, okay, what you just said is really important because you said that like we don't have people to kind of test it out and all these things, but you got to think about like how Courtyard succeeded though. They launched 4 years ago, right? And I'm sure they were in the hole in the beginning or whoever invested in that, right? And then over 4 years, they got through one of the worst bear markets of crypto history in 2022. 2023 happened with the focus was all on ordinals. It wasn't on Polygon. That's where they are. That's where they built. And then in 2024, the focus was on Solana, and the focus was on all these other things. But they didn't care because they believed in what they built, what they were building. Same thing with Poly Market and Courtyard. Now, like during this rough kind of patch this entire year, they don't care about number go up or number go down because they're doing $10 to $15 million in revenue a week because what they believed in. We need more builders like them that believe in what they're building that's going to transition over, because if they're doing $15 million right now, imagine what they're going to be doing in 5 years whenever like this is more like mainstream and everything, and cards are like still like will always be a popular thing, and maybe they're doing $50 million a week or whatever. That's but we need more builders that are building for the long term and not the short term, because they had the long term vision, dude. They had
we have the builders though. We have the builders. We don't have the investors.
No, because
Courtyard got investment 4 years ago when everything was hot. Poly Market got investment 4 years ago when everything was hot. You can't even get
3 years ago,
right
I think,
now
when they got it. Poly Market.
Well, but still, I mean, that was still in the back end of the bull market when investors were still thinking,
I bet you
there's no investors right now. There's a lot of amazing products out there that no one's even touching because there's no investment, and their runway is getting smaller and smaller.
That's not true. Yes. So they did get invested in. There's projects in the Bitcoin ecosystem that got invested in. There's projects in other ecosystems that got invested in.
Only the blockchains got investment. That's it. There's no apps.
But my point that I'm trying to make right now is that like you said something about runway and longevity. That matters, right? That matters because like I guarantee there was times with Courtyard, there was times with Poly Market, there was times with some of these other successful. I don't know about Pump Fund, but those two, for example, where their investors were like, dude, like the markets are not like great right now, and how much you guys doing in revenue a week? And Courtyard might be like, let's say like in 2023 in the summer, whenever ordinals were hot, they were probably like, we're moving up, man. We're at like 100K a week now, or like 500. I don't know what their numbers were, but just imagine, right? And those are moments like that is whenever builders and future successful people either make or break that their success in the future. They either mismanage their runway or they give up, right? And they didn't, because they believed in what they were building, because they felt like it was going to get mass adopted. And it's still not even reached like its potential, but it's doing $15 million a week in revenue. That's huge in our space for a business, like a traditional style business.
I just think it was the right time, the right place at the right time. It was, they got investors that, have long-term outlooks, and their investors are really smart with their money and stuff like that. If Courtyard started today, if Polymarket started today, or even like last year, that I don't think they would be as successful as they are building for user. There's just no one's investing in dApps. I mean, Agent Hustle is probably one of the biggest dApps out there. Migrate.fun, one of the biggest dApps out there, and they cannot even get investors to look their way. Why is that? It's because investors are very scarce right now. They haven't made money in 5 years. Back then, a lot of investors that had a lot of money, they were easily pushing out. And everything that got investment in the last 4 years were chains. There was no dApps that got investment. Like,
I mean, we know of projects that got investment in 2024. You know what I mean? Like, we personally know
they were scams.
Well, I mean, they
Smiley was a scam. Merlin's.
Huh?
Like, I'm just saying, the only products we know that got investment that weren't chains were pretty much
not
scams.
Merlin chain. You're talking about Merlin.
No, I'm just saying.
Starter.
I'm saying, but Smiley and Merlin Starter. I mean, those were obviously scams.
Well, that's not even what I'm talking about. I wasn't even.
I'm just saying that's two dApps that I'm kind of thinking about.
Okay, what about SAS Terminal? SAS Terminal got investment. Arch got.
They got investment this year. Arch. I mean, but still, they have nothing.
There is money there, though.
Arch is the chain. Yeah.
Okay.
Arch is the chain.
So chain business dApp.
I'm just talking about. I'm talking about dApps. dApps only.
Okay.
Not talking about chains.
Okay. SAS Terminal is a dApp or whatever. It's in different wallets. It's going to be integrating into. My point.
I mean, that's a great product.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that, like, you have to truly believe what you build in, and it doesn't matter if number go up or number go down, because if you truly believe what you're building, it shouldn't be solely dependent upon that, right?
Hold on, there's no investors.
Luca Nets also is somebody, like, whenever things were crashing in 2022, he decided to scrounge up some money and purchase like Pudgy Penguin. No, it wasn't a chain at the time. It was an NFT collection, which is one of the most risky things to actually do.
He didn't get funding from that. He got funding from the chain. The chain is how his runway is right now.
No, he took advantage of. He believed in what he wanted to do, and he bought that NFT collection, and he directly went to his network and started working with Walmart. And there's not many people like that, in my opinion, that are like those. Is what I'm saying. We need more of that are building for the future of this, because I'll tell you this: if we only one of the biggest problems that, in my opinion, that crypto is in the situation is in right now, it's because we've always only solely been a money first industry. And if number go up, and that's all that matters. So every 4 years, number go up, everybody comes, and then when number go down, everybody went away. It was like literally like a ghost town after the bull market was done, right? But if you consistently think that way and have that kind of that everybody that was mainstream normies looked at crypto as like, dude, that's degenerate. You know what I mean? That way of thinking. And so you got to get away from just that's the only thing. And that's also one of the reasons why I think that UX suffered so much in our space, user experience, because they were just like, it's all about number go up. That's it. Like, they just wanted number to go up and constantly focus on that until the point to where people, like, we started getting more adoption, and then the new administration came in and they're being more friendly to it. Now the big Web 2 players are coming in, and they know that it's about the user experience at the end of the day if you want to have consistent revenue from products. I mean, that is my perception on my experience in the space up until today. And that's how I view it. No, money's always going to be important in our space, but you got to put the user's experience first, in my opinion. And obviously, you have to have liquidity as well.
You took it way off, though. The original question of this entire thing was, we need number go up for investors to invest. And like, you can have the best app in the world, but if you don't have investors, you have no runway. And like, that's the problem. We need number go up. So right now, all the investors, they're just holding Bitcoin. They're just holding Ethereum. They're holding the top alts, but we need them to make money in those top alts for them to kind of come down here year and start investing in products. Why would you invest in a DApp when you can just hold Bitcoin? And that's how it's been the whole last year. There's no investors right now that are actually coming. Yeah, you can say South Terminal, but they got like $2 million in investment. That's not that's enough for a small project, but it's not enough for a big team like Courtyard to kind of come in and do stuff. I just don't think the projects now they can do anything until we see Bitcoin over 200K, until we see Ethereum over 10K. We needed we need the numbers to go up to kind of bring investment into the ecosystem, and there is none. The whole crypto ecosystem as a whole.
I disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of investment we also don't know about, like on Solana, on Ethereum, on stuff like that. That's just more quiet, Silicon Valley type investment.
We would still hear about it.
Not necessarily, unless it was a huge amount. Unless it, and I don't know how much Courtyard raised. You know what I mean? And they could have developed that platform based off of a $2 million investment. You know what I mean? They could have, and because maybe they have the connections. We know that connections.
Well,
they
have a product outside of that too, right? They sell cards,
vending machines.
Like, yeah, so they have a Web 2 ecosystem as well, and that's could be how they're funding the Web 3 part.
And does that give them an advantage of what they built over here?
It gives them runway.
Well, it also gives them
that's the ultimate thing is runway. How long can you go without making money?
It also gives them an advantage too of their experience that they have in an industry that they're trying to innovate with too. So I do see what you're saying. Like, number has to go up for. I do agree. Like with the masses of retail, like they are waiting for like those lotto tickets, but a lot of them got burnt last cycle, and I think that we need our industry to be more and more solidified with more and more legitimate products and use cases and experiences. And I think that's whenever, because like you and I, we talked about this, we're in this for the long game, so 5-10 years down the line, when you're investing and stuff, like, I think it's going to look so much different. It's going to be more solid as an industry altogether.
Yeah, but if we don't get if the number don't go up, we don't get investment here. Like I said, you can have the best idea in the world, but nobody is investing right now. I mean, that's one thing. Like you said, we don't know if there's products there is nothing being invested in. Like I check the news every single day, and the littlest stuff where it's like, hey, this product raised 7 million pops up on the feed, and that is very, very, very rare anymore. I mean, I haven't seen anything like that in the past, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. To where it hasn't even been in the news. Investors do not care about crypto. They're investing in AI. They're investing in RWA, but they are not investing in dApps right now.
RWA is a part of our industry. If they're investing there.
That's BlackRock, right? That's Ondo. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's the big corporations who don't need funding.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you look at the TradFi markets too, like the riskier stuff is getting ignored.
No investment either. Yeah, exactly.
Like 100%. And like the startup tech companies is probably much harder to raise money than they did before. So that comes down to probably this macro situation that we got at some point, feel like we're out of. But I don't know.
Yeah. Good conversation though. WebJoe says smart investors don't pump price until they're done accumulating. Yeah, I just don't see investors here, dude. Like I really don't. DPI Capital was someone who came in, and I feel like they've gotten smacked in the face from a lot of the builders that really aren't. I mean, the only thing that Bill still is building for them is Saturn. Like, you check DPI's portfolio, and it's like, does that still exist? Does that still exist? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I don't know. I just think that without number go up, you don't get investment. Without investment, you don't get good dApps. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. But that's our show here, guys. 212 people here watching right now. That's the thing, too. Number go up, you don't get viewers. So 212 people. Appreciate every single one of you guys, man, each and every single day.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we could not do this. So we are very thankful for y'all. We're also thankful for our partners as well. If you wouldn't mind checking them out, as they allow us to do this each and every day. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be adding Spark tokens once that ecosystem kicks off. So if you're and they're going to have all of the different contract addresses there. So one-stop kind of place for you guys to see the hot tokens that are going to be in the Spark ecosystem there. You can swap for Bitcoin runes and alkanes as well. And you can earn Amber points while you do it. And Amber points are going to go towards give back for early adopters. So make sure you guys are swapping at satsterminal.com. Also, they have their borrowing and lending against your Bitcoin product. That should be out. I think today was the scheduled day, but we'll get more information on that. So make sure you're following them on X at satsterminal and go to their website at satsterminal.com. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like Rare Pepe's, Counterparty NFTs, you got to use Emblem Vault to do it. You can jump over your Taproot wizards right now on Ethereum on the Gandhi application and take a loan out against one of your wizards. I'm sure that this team is going to open up to other chains as well. Abstract, Arbitrum, Base, possibly Merlin chain as well. And Solana is something that I'm sure is going to be on that list. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product on Solana called Agent Hustle.ai. And Agent Hustle can guide you through the Solana ecosystem. You can ask Hustle to find you a couple 5 to 10x plays. He'll find them for you and give you reasons why he thinks these are good plays. So super exciting stuff to use Hustle in that way. Also, he can do conditional trades for you. You can swap. You can, I believe you can actually create LP as well. So multiple different things there. And there is multiple different subscriptions as well. There's a free subscription, but you are limited to the tool sets there. And then there are the paid subscriptions above that where you get more of the tooling. You can get a discount as well if you use the Hustle token, which is the token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem. There is another product within that ecosystem called Migrate.fun, and they are getting ready to kick off their first cohort of migration. So if you launched a token on a launchpad in Solana and you would like to get kind of a migration going to a new launchpad, let's say, for example, you launched on Pump and you need help with your community. Of course, your community needs to be on board with this to kind of move that liquidity to Bonk. Migrate.fun can help you do that, right? And so super exciting that there is even this option. And the Emblem team has about, I think, 20 teams in this first cohort. So a lot of people interested in this. And the revenue from this is I think they mentioned that it's going to go back into kind of getting that Hustle token bought back up. So again, that Hustle token powers the entire ecosystem. Head over to migrate.fun to learn more there and reach out to their team if you're interested in their next cohort. Head over to emblem.vision to learn about their entire product suite. And then Artura.finance, they just had their IDO kickoff yesterday for their token. I believe it's at a 16 million FDV, which, they've raised over 6 figures with that. But if you're looking to trade for Bitcoin synthetic fungible tokens in the near future, you got to do it at Artura.finance. They are talking about having Dog go to the moon, $1 billion cat, possibly already sats, and then maybe some of these Spark tokens if they catch fire and have a lot of demand, right? There is a trading competition on the platform right now. First place only has $430 of P&L, so it's not too hard to catch them. First place will win 5,000 USDC, and then another 5,000 USDC is split amongst the next couple winners there. So make sure you're participating in that. Also, you can earn some points by just doing transactions on their platform, and you'll earn points as well from the Botanics side as they are live on Botanics Bitcoin layer 2, and Botanics is going to be doing a give back as well. They're doing an airdrop of Bitcoin to all the people using their chain. Head over to Artura.finance today to learn more. And don't forget, we have the Trader's Edge episode that's coming up today at 2 p.m. Eastern time as well. And then Tokyo Wallet is a multi-chain smart wallet that is building for the best UI and UX for all of their users. They support 3 different ecosystems in Bitcoin, Cardano, and Sui. So you can swap for all of those token standards right there in their wallet, as they've partnered with DEX aggregator swaps for all of those ecosystems there. They do have the token that powers their application there. And you can actually stake directly in their application with the token as well. You can download this if you have an iPhone on the Apple App Store, or you can download it if you have an Android on the Google Play Store. Let us know your feedback. Super awesome team that's really talented, and expect more ecosystems to be added for support there. Also, there's a small section where you'll find our YouTube channel and other YouTubers as well. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard 2.0 that is available to all users. All you need is some Merlin Bitcoin, and you can start swapping directly from Merlin Chain and swap for Solana tokens. You can swap for BNB tokens and other popular chains as well. You can use the Wizard to grab data from other chains as well, like getting the top 10 Fartcoin wallets and the data from those wallets. You can get it by using the Wizard. Right. And the Wizard can do DeFi functions for you as well, like staking. And speaking of staking, they have 3 staking options for their proof of stake. The first one is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. Everybody loves this product. Institutional investment into this product, about $55 million. So really hot product right now. And narrative is really staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. And you can earn 16% on average for the staking vault. It does close on the 30th, so you got 7 days left, and I'm sure they're going to open a new one very soon. And then for Merlin token, there's 2 options there. There is the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You earn 15% APR on that, and you can claim the rewards every single day and compound interest those rewards if you'd like. And then there's a 6-month option that is called the bonded option. You earn 45% APR. Same thing, you can claim those rewards every single day and compound interest those as well. Head over to merlinchain.io. They are at Korea Blockchain Week. If you happen to be there, you can say what's up to Jeff and his team. Really awesome team, super nice people. Head over to Merlin Chain to learn more today. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive. Fonzie and his team building the fastest ordinal marketplace in the industry. They have their B collection that they launched 2 weeks ago. You can stake that to earn an airdrop of the Hive token, and make sure you're following them on their socials to get updates on that Hive token of when their TGE is going to be for that. But fastest platform in all of ordinals. You get your ordinal right away. Also, amazing trader tools, mempool insights, stuff like that you can grab straight out of the mempool. So head over to ordinalhive.io. Make sure you catch their spaces every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job on that, man, as always. And if you don't mind, shit, I did not have the website ready. Okay, so go over and check out onchainrevolution.io. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you need, if you need to be like catching up, if you don't know what was going on in the ecosystem back then, you guys can check out these articles. We have they're about 3 to 4 minute reads, and you guys can check them all out one by one here. Just go to the side here. You guys can kind of see everything that's happening in the space all through these articles. So then we have a VPN. If you're interested, we got NordVPN, the number 1 VPN that I use on a daily basis. There's no reason not to have a VPN. You shouldn't be going to these sites without a VPN, and this will actually allow you to use sites like Hyperliquid and MEXC and stuff like that, which kind of ban you right now for they geo-block you. But you are available to use anything that does not have, KYC and stuff like that. So you definitely want to be a part of the Hyperliquid stuff, and you guys can get a VPN to use that. So, there's no reason to let anything block you guys. So check that out too, as you use Nord for Magic Eden. Yeah, Magic Eden. If you go there, if in the US, you have to get magiceden.us, right? But you want to use the original Magic Eden, magiceden.com. You guys can get a VPN and go around that. So definitely check that out. And if you guys need merch, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. I recently just bought a hat from here. It's going to be at my probably my home very soon. So definitely check out everything here. Not Bullish Enough. I have a 401kb and everything else here at onchainrevolution.io. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How do the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. On-chain revolution.